Good afternoon, councillors, members of the public and officers. Welcome along to this council meeting, which I declare open. And I acknowledge the Wadani Noongar. This is Wadani Noongar Budji, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Under announcements, I just want to confirm with our community that the City of Bunbury has in place emergency plans to deal with COVID-19. We're working collaboratively with the state and federal governments, and we will continue to do so as we collectively combine to try and overcome, which is a major international challenge. Councillors, are there any declarations of interest? We have Councillor Turner's impartiality interest there. Are there any further declarations? Thank you. Can I have someone move confirmation of the previous council meeting minutes, please? Councillor Hayward, Councillor Giles, all in favour? That's carried unanimously, thank you. We have two of the advisory committee reports, the Policy Review and Audit Committee. Can I have someone move both of those to be received and noted, please? Councillor Hayward, Councillor McGuell, all in favour? That's carried unanimously, thank you. Are there any petitions? We have a request from Mr Fitzgerald to speak to item 10.4.1. Those who agree, please indicate. Thank you, that's agreed. We'll call you up at that time. Thanks, Mr Fitzgerald. So, dealing with tonight's agenda, we have 10.1.3. We have a committee recommendation and an executive recommendation which has been circulated. And we have 10.3.1 requires an absolute majority, and 10.4.1 we have the deputation. Are there any other items that councillors wish to discuss in detail? If not, can I have someone move the bulk? Thank you, Councillor Hayward. Seconder, Councillor McCleary, all in favour? That's carried unanimously, thank you. So if we go to 10.1.3.
Mr Mayor, I'd like to move to defer this motion until we get the government regulations and guidelines, please.
So you're moving to defer this matter until the government has issued guidelines on this topic for elected members. So no particular time set, just whenever that happens.
Mr Mayor, I could change that to, if you, with your permission, to say either that or its regular time, which was December this year, for review.
Or December this year. That's been moved and seconded. All in favour, please indicate. Those against? That's carried. We go to 10.3.1. Requires an absolute majority. Can I have someone move that recommendation? Councillor McGuell, seconder. Councillor Giles. Any debate?
And please accept my ignorance on this, but I thought that how can the City of Bunbury apply for these when I thought it was a community grants for sporting groups? Can we please explain how a city can apply for this?
You want an explanation as to how the CSRFF small grants work?
Well, how does the city get a grant if they're not actually a sporting facility? So just, if you can, because I thought it was a third, and the city puts up a third, the community group puts up a third, and then the state government puts up a third. So if you can explain.
Mr CEO.
Yes, through Mr Mayor, local governments are entitled to apply for CSRFF for the minor grants and for the major grants, and this matter was discussed at an executive level where we had already considered that we should be trying to seek as much grant funding as we can for the proposed youth precinct, and therefore our recommendation was in order of priority to put the city's application before the other club's application. So local governments are entitled to apply, and the city had intended to make an application in this case.
Can I just ask the question, sir? This is, it says in the council support, the order of priority, the construction of the multi-purpose courts. Now, are they the multi-purpose courts that are for the youth precinct?
It refers to the youth precinct, I think, CEO.
That's correct. This particular application that the city is recommending we'll make the application is certainly for the multi-purpose courts and park hall facilities for the youth precinct.
Further questions, sir?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Given the advice I've just been provided, why is council going down the path of, I guess, elevating the construction of a multi-purpose court in the youth precinct when there is a higher demonstrated need out at the Southwest Sports Centre, sir? Especially for basketball, sir.
Yeah, you're bordering on debating there, Councillor, but I'll ask the CEO to respond.
Through Mr Mayor, at this stage the indicative design for the youth precinct included an open court area. It was not necessarily designed to be a replacement for competitive sports, but it was one of the facilities that was included in the design, which my understanding, Mr Harris might be able to confirm, that was brought through to this design from the public through community engagement.
Councillor McGill, do you wish to speak to this as the mover?
These things are very important. Obviously, we've all been discussing the youth precinct for some time now, and council has viewed and voted on the fact that we're happy to proceed with this and very excited to proceed with this. So I think this is just another step on the way of getting this this project off the ground, and I obviously don't see any other reason why we wouldn't support the Croquet Club either. So I'll certainly be encouraging all councillors to vote in favour of this.
Councillor Giles, do you wish to speak? Speaker against? Councillor Steck.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Given the fact that the information that's been provided to me this evening, I will go down the path of saying that the community engagement for the courts part of the youth precinct was not a higher priority, and the responses were not a higher priority than the responses we've received from the sporting fraternity from the basketball courts. I understand that it's not meant to be a competitive court. However, there are courts within 15 minutes walk of that proximity, namely the high school, straight across the road from the beach. So why would we go down this path? And not only that, there is a synergy with Airwave if it gets going. So I think councillors need to have a look at how many bites of the cherry we get and go down the path of using sound economic sense and using whatever funds that you can go get to a greater end of the community that uses those areas.
Further speaker 4. Yes, there is. Councillor McGill, do you wish to close? I'll put 1 all in favour. Those against? So Councillor Steck and Smith voted against, the rest voted for, and that's carried. Number 2, please indicate those in favour. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. We move on to 10.4.1. Mr Fitzgerald, welcome to you. You're familiar with the processes.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, councillors, and thank you for the opportunity to speak briefly tonight on this item. Councillors, I won't take up much of your time. I'll keep a close eye on that clock. My name's Gary Fitzgerald, Director for TechOn Australia, and I represent Mr Gregory Buglehole, who's the owner of lots 44 to 88 Castle Street, the subject 5 lots that we're talking about tonight, councillors. Councillors, this development's been in the planning stages for quite some time now. As you know, and your report outlines comprehensively all of the information, and we thank council staff for their support and guidance throughout this process. quite clearly articulates that it's a lot of about 3,880 square metres, situated in the corner of Higgins and Castle Street. But importantly, Council, some of the background to this development, with Mr Buglehole being a local Bunbury person for many years and keen to provide a significant investment into town, has always had the goal of providing a quality investment of medium density type development, which is a term used, Councillor, which is the missing density. Bunbury particularly, I think, suffers from that from a planning perspective. We don't see the types of this type of development much. There is a little bit, but the type of development that we're providing here is high quality design. It's of unit type development, but it's generously sized homes, and the concept's been prepared on a high quality urban design outcome with key focus on an architectural design. The young architect we have from Perth, a young gentleman who's very switched on, and it's amazing what you can do in small areas with good quality design, councillors, which is exactly what we're trying to achieve here. Development relates to the street really well. We haven't tried to put a block of any development. We've tried to have an interface with the street, with the development, with access ways through it. As I said, generously located. We have access around the building, very mindful and considerate of the surrounding development, so it's set back well so that it doesn't impose on either the streetscape or adjoining development. So councillors, just as I said, I really just wanted to get up here and particularly sort of emphasise that we support 100% the recommendation that's presented to council tonight, and we urge you to give it a positive consideration in moving this scheme amendment forward, and looking forward to an exciting development in the near future of this medium density development. So thank you very much for your time, Mr Mayor, councillors.
Thank you. Can someone move the executive recommendation? Councillor.
Declaration of interest in, so I beg your pardon, I have a friend that does live on that street.
So it's an impartiality interest. Impartiality interest by Councillor Steele, as she has a friend who lives in the street. Can I have someone move the executive recommendation? Councillor Steck, seconded. Will you second it?
I was going to second it.
Go.
Whoever, either or.
Councillor Hayward. Councillor Steck. Councillor Steck.
Just that I urge councillors to fully support the motion, sir.
Councillor Hayward. Who did we get seconding? Yeah, Councillor Hayward. Okay.
Just to say, look, I think that space in our city is an area that's really underdeveloped, and there's a real opportunity for that to grow and become something really significant. And I think this could be particularly the quality this is being proposed at could be something that really turns the tables over there. So I think it's really worthy of being supported. Thank you.
Is there a speaker against? I'll put it all in favour. That's carried unanimously. Thank you, and we wish you well. Councillors, that brings us to the end of the meeting. Thank you for your attendance tonight. Officers and members of the public, I declare the meeting closed at 5:42 p.m.